McLaren CEO Zak Brown fired repeated blows at Formula One competitor Red Bull following the announcement of its tech guru Adrian Newey's approaching departure. Brown obviously regarded the news as unsurprising, hinting at the prospect of a larger exodus from F1's dominating team in a couple of somewhat casual responses during the team's press conference at the Miami Grand Prix on Friday, also blaming the internal struggle being the reason Red Bull will fall down the order in the coming years. Newey is said to have left Red Bull after becoming disillusioned with the company's internal politics, which have devolved into a power struggle between the Thai side of the business, which supports team boss Christian Horner, and the Austrian side, which is aligned with Helmut Marko and the Verstappen family. The situation became public after an internal probe into Horner's alleged inappropriate conduct towards a female colleague. A complaint was first dismissed but has since been appealed against. During the build-up to the Miami Grand Prix, Horner denied to Sky Sports that Newey's departure was due to anything internal at Red Bull. According to Horner, Newey's resignation was not motivated by internal conflicts within Red Bull. No, absolutely not. I think this has been coming for some time, and there was discussion of pretty much 12 months ago that it might have been the time for Adrian to look at stepping back. So I know it's been on his mind for some time, and it's been something that we've been having to plan for. And what better time to go than with the run of form that we've had over the last couple of seasons with the way that the team is performing. However, Brown's response indicated that he not only sees a direct relationship between the Horner problem and Newey's departure, but also considers Red Bull to be a destabilized team. Am I surprised? 6 months ago, I would have been surprised, Brown began. Given everything that's gone on since the start of the year and knowing Adrian very well, he's a very high-integrity individual. I am not surprised he is moving on. I think the stuff that's going on there is a bit destabilizing. It was probably the first domino to fall, my guess is not the last, based on the resumes that are flying around. Brown was further questioned on his assertion that additional Red Bull employees were reportedly on the market, and he doubled down. Yeah, we've seen an increase in CVs coming in our way from the team. Horner, however, does not anticipate a huge departure from Red Bull. Not at all. I mean, our key pillars are in place for the future. The technical team are all on long-term contracts. We've been having to think about this moment for some time. It was always going to come at some point. And I think the structure that we've got in place is, which Adrian has helped contribute to morph and mold into the package that it now is, is well set to take up the baton and continue to produce fantastic cars like we have. The same topic was raised to Aston Martin squad head Mike Crack during the press conference, together with Williams' James Vowles and RB's Laurent Mekies. And Crack denied that Aston Martin was experiencing an increase in CVs from individuals currently at Red Bull. And Mekies took advantage of the opportunity to crack a joke, saying, "Well, we have to be very careful with CVs coming from Red Bull, otherwise Zak is getting upset," a reference, which Brown appeared to enjoy, to the McLaren boss's long-standing and very public concerns about how much cooperation there is between the two Red Bull-owned teams. In terms of the impact the exit of a person of Newey's caliber can have, Brown said, "I think Adrian is the most successful designer of all time. So in addition to the technical aspect that he brings to the racing team, people want to work for people like Adrian Newey and work alongside him. So I think they'll be missing what he brings to the team from a pure technical point of view. And then I think the leadership and the excitement people get from working with him will be missed." Despite this, Brown made no indication that McLaren was actively pursuing Newey. And as far as McLaren's concerned, as a contender to sign Newey, I'm very happy with all the work the men and women at McLaren are doing. I think we've started to show since last year, the second half of last year, that they know how to put performance on the car. So I've got all the faith in the world with the team that we have. We're on a quest to get back to the front, and I think we have the people, the talent, the equipment, the drivers to get there, so we're just going to stay the course. The man in question himself, Adrian Newey, maintained a good-natured party line in his first official interview since announcing his resignation from the Red Bull Formula One team, but said that the turbulence surrounding the group in recent months weighed significantly on his choice. His conversation with Sky's Martin Brundle before the Miami Grand Prix sprint qualifying wasn't quite a breaking his silence moment because he'd been widely cited in Red Bull's press statement announcing their split, but it was the first time he'd been publicly questioned by a member of the media since then. He talked glowingly of his amazing ride at Red Bull and the tremendous honour of working with everyone there. When asked why he was departing now, midway through another brilliant season, Newey reiterated the needing a break narrative that his management Eddie Jordan had extensively pushed during his podcast with David Coulthard this week. "Well, Formula One's all-consuming," Newey began. "I've been at it for a long time now. 2021 was a really busy year because of the tight battle with Mercedes through the championship, and at the same time putting all the research and development into the RB18, which was the father of this generation of cars. Then, I don't know, there comes a point where, as Forrest Gump said, I'm feeling a little bit tired." However, when Brundle was more specific and queried Newey about the time frame of his decision, Newey's reference to events in 2024 had to be understood as indication that the turmoil at the team following the complaint lodged against team principal Christian Horner had been a tipping point. "A little while now, if I'm honest," said Newey of how long he'd been considering leaving. "I guess over the winter a little bit, and then as events have unfolded this year, I thought, I'm in the very lucky position where I don't need to work to live. I work because I enjoy it. And so I just felt that now was a good time to step back and take a bit of a break and take stock of life, and go travelling a bit." While the F1 paddock is buzzing with speculation over which team will sign him for 2025, Newey has proposed going around France in a camper van with his wife Amanda and their dogs as his next plan. But he didn't go out of his way to disguise his desire to join another Formula One team. "Maybe at some point, I don't know when, I'll be standing in the shower and will go, right, now this is going to be the next adventure. But right now, there's no plan," he said. He replied, "I do enjoy regulation changes for sure," when Brundle suggested designing a car for the 2026 rules would appeal. Ferrari is the current frontrunner to acquire Newey, and Brundle pointed out to Newey that 2025 Ferrari signing Lewis Hamilton has made no secret of his desire to have the design great on board as well. "It's too early, honestly," said Newey of any such decision. "It's very kind of Lewis to say that, I'm very flattered. But at the moment it's just take a little bit of a break and see what happens next." Red Bull's squad manager Horner also does not expect Newey to join a new team just yet. "Look, I think he's going to take some time out first and think about, he's 65 years of age. I think he's earned that right to have a bit of time out, spend some time with his wife and family, and that's what he's very keen to do." And circling back to the topic of a mass exodus, there actually seems to be no further departures due to Red Bull's dominance. This also means that Max Verstappen will remain with Red Bull Racing for at least another year, at least according to Helmut Marko. Marko is sure Verstappen will stay at Red Bull. Max will go to the team where he thinks he can get the best technical package. At the moment, that is at Red Bull Racing. Next year there are no different rules either, so I assume he will still drive for us, Marko said. Newey's departure also came as a surprise to Marko. But if the motivation is no longer there, then it is a kind of burnout for him. Then you have to accept that. Because of his enormous merits for Red Bull Racing, we decided together to terminate his contract. Marko, on the other hand, is anxious that Newey may rekindle his fire with another Formula One team. "After a period of reflection, I am afraid he will have the spirit and hunger again, and then he will be available again for another team." Marko calls Newey's departure mainly a psychological weakening of the team. What do you think? Will Newey switch to another team in 2025? Or will he retire? And what about those mass departure comments from Zak Brown? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.